Hello again, thanks for joining. Today I've got 5 coaches to have a look at, and they're all from a company called Meccano, who produced a range of Continental HO scale model railway items from around about 1951 to around 1973. These coaches I think all hail from about 1950 to 1960, that kind of era, so quite early on in production, and they're all different as well. However, they are all from the SNCF and they are all obviously in green. The one at the front there is a baggage car, and we have I think probably 2 commuter style coaches and then 2 more regular express coaches. So I'm going to have a look at these in turn, and we'll start off with the baggage car. So one of the things I noticed on these coaches is that they all have different couplings. This one has actually got a unique set of couplings which are made of metal, look quite brutal as well. And we have 2 other styles across the other coaches. This baggage car looks really quite good, I think. It's obviously a retro model. It has a separate roof here which is in black plastic, which has been attached onto the top. And we also have a piece of black plastic here which has been added on as a separate part, and it actually has a kick down plate as well. It's got some really nice detail on it. Got really large, big, round red lights at each end as well. I don't think this has actually got any lighting inside, but it looks as though it could be set up for that quite easily. Unfortunately, this one is missing a buffer on this side. It is part of the body moulding and it looks as though it's snapped off there. And at the other end of the baggage car, we've got both of them fitted, so that's quite good. Looking down the side, we've got the SNCF written here, along with the type of baggage car it is. And we have some other printing on the door and here, but other than that, it's a fairly plain side to this van. The windows are really good though. We've got an indication of some mesh on there, but it's just part of the plastic. But what I really like about this is that it has opening doors at each end, and they just slide open like that on a little track. But what you will notice is that the windows also slide as well, so that's really quite cool. And they've been fitted in very neatly in order to be able to make that happen. There's also another door in the middle and some steps coming down. And overall, it's not too bad. The plastic does have a couple of waves in it, which I guess is from when it was moulded. And the roof does have a few ripples in it as well. Again, I think that was when it was moulded too. So it is quite a chunky coupling hanging out the front here, and it's attached to the bogie. It does cantilever separate to it. And the axles are located into these little metal parts, but the rest of the bogie is also made of metal. It has some really good details. The spring detail is very good, and the axle boxes are represented well too. And we've even got brake gear almost in line with the wheels. And they are very chunky wheels with big flanges, and they're made of plastic. They don't revolve too well, and we've got a bit of rust going on there. This is quite an old model. You have to remember that, I suppose. It's held together with these screws. There's 2 underneath, and the chassis has a little bit of rivet detail and brake gear. And we have 3 extra parts put in here as extra pieces of plastic. And we have this box hanging down here. Not a whole lot of detail there. There's no detail inside the van at all, but you can see that there's a weight there and some cross bracing there that's holding the windows in place. So it is quite a crude model, but it is very old, and it certainly has a lot of character to it. But let's have a look at one of the coaches. So the next one is this second class coach. I think this is a commuter coach, just going by the style of the doors here, and it has 3 metal handrails here as well. Clearer on the printing here, you can definitely see this is a BMY class of coach, and it's number 12514. You can see second class there as well. No glazing on the end, and this is just all integral into the main piece of plastic, but it has got some nice detail. The kick down plate and these buffers are extra pieces that have been pushed into the main piece of plastic. Again, the roof is a separate moulding in black. And looking down the side of this coach, it doesn't really have a lot of detail apart from the doors, which are really quite distinctive. The windows are good and clear, and you can see it has a brown interior and there's quite a lot of detail on those seats, so that's pretty cool. On the roof, this seems to be a better moulding than the baggage car, and we've got some studs at the doors here. I guess those are vents, and little gutters moulded in here as well. Not too bad at all on the roof. Again, we've got very chunky bogies. They're made of metal, and again, we've got a bit of rust here, but that is because of the age of this coach. The coupling is different as well, but it is also cantilevered. This is very much like the style of Lima or other Continental couplings. Not much detail underneath this one, although we do have 2 tanks added in as extra parts, and again it's held together with screws. I didn't mention it in the last one, but this coach has the Hornby-Acho there. I think that's how you pronounce it, Acho, or it might be ACHO, and it's got made in France by Meccano. So quite an interesting coach here. Let's have a look at the other one. This is the first class version of it, and you can see that it's printed here with AMY, and we have a yellow stripe to signify first class. This particular one is a bit dirty, and inside we have a different interior. This time it's green, and we seem to have some kind of white or cream on it as well, so it's kind of two-tone. Aside from that, it's pretty much exactly the same model. It's got the same roof and it's got the same ends, although it does have a bit of paint here. I'm not actually sure whether that came out the factory like that, whether that's been added on by a previous owner. These coaches have been around a while, so they've probably gone through a few different owners in their life. This one has a different coupling on it again, much more crude this time, but it's made of plastic. But the bogie again is made of metal, and underneath it's exactly the same as the second class coach. So moving on, we have this one, which is a more like an express coach. It's a second class one, and it has the panels here saying Paris to Lille. So again, we've got a separate moulding for the roof, which is done in black and is fitted on here. We have the buffers pressed into the body shell, although this one is missing a buffer here, but we have both on this end, which is good. And this is a compartment coach. I do now wonder whether this has been taken apart before and painted by a previous owner. It doesn't look very good there, the painting, and it's kind of made it two-tone. This is the corridor side. And the compartment side, you can see the seats, which are in green. And we have a toilet window here with frosted plastic. Again, the bogies are made of metal. I think they're just exactly the same bogie. And underneath you can see some moulding marks when it was originally injection moulded on the bottom of the chassis. Again, we have these two little tanks added in, and a couple of boxes moulded into the chassis. It's held together with these screws, just like the other coaches. On the side moulding, we have these hatches moulded in, which is pretty good down there on the skirt. And we've got some handrails moulded in around the door with a little step coming down as well. There's a few more vents on the top of this one and a couple of panels representing hatches at each end. So overall, this is not too bad a coach, I think. So we'll have a look at the first class version of this one. And here is the first class one. Again, it says Paris to Lille. The obvious difference here is that we've got this yellow stripe running along the top of the coach to represent first class, and the interior is now brown instead of green. Still some buffers missing and broken off here and there. It's got again the same bogies, which are made of metal. This one isn't rusting so bad. And we're back to having the Lima style couplings on this one. And underneath it's exactly the same as we've just seen. The windows are very clear in it. I like the effect of having the bar going across it. And I don't know if you can see on the video, it does have some details on the seating as well. So not a bad coach either for its age. And these all seem to be quite heavy. So let's put them on the scales and we'll see how much they weigh. So one of the, let's say, express coaches weighs 168 grams. And the commuter coaches are 158. And finally, the smaller baggage car is 145. So for me, it's been quite interesting to have a look at this old selection of vintage coaches from Hornby-Acho. Unsurprisingly, they're all French ones because that's where they were made. And this range of products was predominantly aimed at French and Belgian markets. Very interesting to see that this was part of Meccano's range back in the 50s and 60s and early 70s. And it's good to see that these particular models have lasted throughout the years and are here today to have a look at. So it's incredible that they're still in existence. Each of them has its own charm, I think. The commuter coaches with their metal handrails are very distinctive. I like the baggage car with the opening windows. That's really quite good for a model of this era. And the express coaches are quite a good representation as well. But I think what's appealing about these is the fact that they're old and vintage and that they've survived, rather than that they're something that you can just stick on your model railway and run. I'm sure in a suitable layout they would run no problem at all. They certainly seem to look as though they would do sterling service still. But I think the appeal of these is just in the collecting of them. But what do you think about these? Have you got a favourite? And what do you think about Hornby-Acho? And am I even saying it correctly? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe this video. I'll put the baggage car onto the turntable so you can see all the way around. And in a moment another video will appear. Just click on that and I'll see you there. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See ya.
So model train,